What do you say when somebody offers to lend you a book that you've already read? I already read it. I'm glad you find it funny. Because at the end of the day, there are people out there struggling who need my advice, and you're sat there giggling at jokes.
I already read it.
Take a long, hard look at yourself in the mirror, pal. It's kind of funny though, wasn't it? A little bit. I have 3 people today, not like held captive or anything, who need our help, and so we're going to use our extensive relationship knowledge and common sense to assist these human beings and help them out with their problems. This girl I like doesn't want a relationship, even though everything we do suggests otherwise. What should I do? Me, male 19, and this girl, female 20, I've known for a month. So I've been in quite the situation lately, and I could really use some advice. I met this amazing girl and we really hit it off. We even got pretty close to taking things to the next level, but we both decided to hold off. The attraction is definitely there, so that's not the issue. We spent tons of time together, like days on end at her place, just having a blast and laughing our heads off. Naturally, I started catching feelings. I finally decided to talk to her about it, and I suggested we either stop being just friends or maybe even give dating a shot. Well, she got pretty upset with me for suggesting that and even called it a waste, urging me to stay friends. She's been clear that she doesn't want a relationship right now, but she didn't say I was the problem. She just views relationships as toxic and leading to jealousy. Here's where it gets even more confusing. When we're out with friends, everyone thinks we're together. She responds to my text in like 0.5 seconds, invites me over to her place at odd hours, and we flirt like crazy. She even texts me all the time, and we've done so many things together, even though we're not officially dating. But every time I bring up the idea that I don't want to be just friends, she shuts it down and calls it rude. I'm really lost here. What should I do, Reddit? Is there any way to change her mind, or should I just accept we're going to be friends and there's nothing I can do? I'm going to start by pointing out some of the key takeaways from this post. 1, he's known her for a month. 2, he's certain the attraction is there. 3, he has started catching feelings. 4, she got upset with him for suggesting dating and friend-zoned him. And 5, she shows a lot of interest. What I think is happening here is this woman is a human, I hope, who feels a bunch of different feelings all the time. Just like every other human, she has natural desires and wants, but a very important principle of life is that you can't always get what you want. Not only can you not always get what you want, but you also can't always have everything that you want all at once. What I believe is happening here is this woman is getting everything that she wants out of you, and very possibly other guys, without the commitment or label of a relationship. You're ultimately allowing her to have everything that she wants all the time, which is sometimes, you know, hanging out with you and flirting with you. And as a result, you, who desire something more serious, something more long-term, more stable, are being used. There likely isn't any malicious intent from this girl, but in a non-conscious negative way, you're allowing her to get all that she wants from you without you getting all that you want from her. Here's what I would do. I would begin to build the self-esteem and confidence necessary to stand firm in my boundaries and goals. You should talk to this girl again, and you should tell her that you feel as though she's interested in you because of how she acts. And then make it clear that if she does not want to progress further with you and give you any sort of commitment or label, that the dynamic that you're both in needs to change. The current dynamic is one where you are catching feelings and not getting what you want. She is not catching feelings and getting everything that she wants. It's unfair, and if you don't begin to practice standing firm in your goals and boundaries as a man, you will unfortunately become the unintentional emotional puppet of many more people in your life. The unfortunate result will likely be her shutting it down again, but if that's the case, you have to stop pursuing this woman. Here's what I wouldn't do. I wouldn't allow myself to be driven by emotions and cope with the situation. You shouldn't stay in the dynamic and falsely hope that one day, maybe soon, she'll be ready to commit. The truth is that the longer you allow her to get everything that she wants from you without her having to give anything in return, she's only going to get more comfortable doing the same. She's going to subconsciously view you as the attractive guy that she can sometimes flirt with and have fun with without having to take any risks, make any commitments, or stop herself from doing any of that stuff with any other guys. Once again, I don't think she's consciously thinking that, because I don't think many people, you'd have to be pretty malicious and evil to consciously think that. But humans are imperfect, and so that's how she's going to subconsciously perceive you. Now, even worse, if you continue to ask her now and then whilst remaining in this dynamic, you'll only repel her and make her far less attracted to you. The only way she will commit to you is if you show her that you have these specific boundaries that she cannot shift, because then she's forced to make the decision of either committing to you or losing you. The next post I've heard is a rather interesting one, but before that, I have a YouTube channel.
No shit.
And it just so happens to be the one that you are watching currently, right this second. Consider showing some support for myself if you like this kind of educational content, because I post videos just like this 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and I do believe that I have a lot of value to give you. Girl I'm talking to, 21 female, is always on her phone when she's with me, 27 male, but doesn't respond to my texts. So this girl I really like is always pulling her phone out when she's with me to check texts, scroll on Insta, Snap, or whatever it is. She's on it a lot, I guess you could say. Lately I've been texting her while I have posts on my Instagram stories, and she views my stories but doesn't respond to my text until way later. I figure since she's always texting people and on her phone when she's with me, and since she views my stories and doesn't text back until a while after, she might not be interested anymore. I'm just not sure, and I'm wondering what I should do. Should I take a step back and just not text her for a while? What happens if I do that though and she texts me? Should I text her back or not pay it much attention like she's been doing lately? There are 3 key takeaways from this post. 1, this girl is chronically online. 2, this guy is very emotionally invested and is overthinking. And 3, she is very likely ignoring his messages. Because this girl is on her phone so much and is very likely chronically online, it's very obvious to me that she isn't very interested in this man or motivated enough to entertain him. What I believe is that it will be very, very obvious if a girl is into you. If you are motivating enough to a woman and she wants you bad enough, she will make time for you, move things for you, reschedule things for you, prioritize you or the pursuit of you over most of, if not everything else in her life. The feminine tends to be very love orientated, with relationships and romance being the top priority for a woman who's very comfortably relaxed into her femininity. In order to achieve this with a woman, you have to be masculine and motivating enough to sort of polarize her back into her femininity. I can already assume this man is not masculine or motivating enough because he's made this post. It shows me that if we were to go into this man's brain and diagnose his list of priorities, this woman and whether or not she likes him would be top 3. A man who is focused on love and relationships as opposed to his mission is a lot more of a feminine man. And that's why these soy boys, some like to call them, tend to have little to no success with women, because it's kind of like feminine clashing with feminine. It doesn't polarize together, it doesn't really work. When you have a woman who isn't entertaining you, it's only ever going to be because she isn't attracted to you. And I'm not talking about attraction in the black pill way of solely appearance. She could be unattracted to your lack of purpose, your weak integrity, your low control over your emotions. Here's what I would do. I would begin to practice masculinity and prioritize my mission in the service of others over romance and love. Lucky for you, free education on becoming a more masculine man and learning how to navigate the tough situations in your life is hugely accessible right now on YouTube, online courses, podcasts. You should take advantage of this material and learn what the best ways to be a man are, so that you can have a higher quality, easier life. The main priority of the masculine is purpose and your mission in the service of others and your community that you care about. And you'll find that if you do start to prioritize these things over love and relationships, women tend to be far more attracted to you. Along with this, improving every other important aspect of your life, like your physical appearance through fitness or your internal qualities through knowledge and wisdom, you will bump up those level of attractiveness points and life will be so much easier for you. When you're more of a motivating option for a woman, she will put in the time for you. Here's what I wouldn't do. I wouldn't continue to prioritize this woman and live like an insecure detective. The truth is that she probably isn't interested in you, probably isn't attracted to you. And so if you continue to be driven by your emotions, you'll find yourself doing irrational and unattractive things like chasing her, analyzing her, and making her feel pressured and uncomfortable. You're currently insecure about the entire situation, which is understandable, but it's causing you to notice things and hyperfixate onto them, which you shouldn't do. You shouldn't worry as much as you do, and instead move on, let life happen, and prioritize your mission. Hello, I'm 17 male, and I would like to know if my girlfriend, female 18, and her other poly partner, 17 male, are loving each other more than me. Right, we already had a talk about it, and I felt guilty about seeing her so sad and all that. And she said, no promises about loving you both equally. And as I'm writing this, again, she is still giving them more attention than me. My partner always gives me the driest responses, and they are being borderline sexually right now. I don't want to confront because I literally just did 3 days ago, and I don't want to make them feel awful about breaking their promise. So do you guys have any ideas? A whole lot to unpack here, a whole lot to say. Polyamory. Kind of sounds like a shape, doesn't it? Polyamory is a recipe for all sorts of toxic and unhealthy behaviors and emotions. This poor young man who is 17 years old, or both of these young men, there's two of them, are both equally cucks. They're both clearly quite confused, and you know, they're in this dynamic of all sorts of perversion and crazy, and he's not too happy about it. It's pretty clear to me that this woman is more attracted to her second boyfriend, which is guy number 2, the guy who isn't writing this post. They've tried to be really creative and woke and have this three-way relationship with these unrealistic, perfect expectations of equality, and surprise, surprise, it's not really working out for them.
Didn't see that coming, did you, cuck?
Polyamory is a disaster because it's an extreme dynamic with unrealistic and unrespectable boundaries. You can certainly have boundaries in a polyamorous relationship and say, oh, you don't worry, you can go and twindle with other men, my lady. But as long as you run it by me beforehand, or don't do this specific sex act. But she's never going to follow those boundaries in the moment. Because one, a man who allows his woman to be the pleasure to other men is not a man who is respectable by any woman. And two, because lust is followed by a cloud of irrationality and your woman doesn't see you as a man who she should respect, she isn't going to stop herself from doing that one specific sex act that you don't want her to do. She's also not going to respectfully consider letting you know whenever she twindles with another man. She's not going to be sat there thinking, oh, I should really let him know. I should have some respect for my boyfriend who lets me go and have sex with a bunch of other men. She won't even be consistent in the bare minimum of running it by you before she does it, because there's no respect or committable stability holding that boundary in place. You're allowing your girlfriend to have 2 boyfriends and then crying when she doesn't love you both equally or she likes him better. What sort of fantasy world are you living in? What I would do is completely erase every bit of polyamorous ideology in your brain, leave both of these confused people to twindle with each other and go on your merry way, accepting this as just a silly phase in your life that completely failed, and learn from it. Practice a more masculine lifestyle and start to desire monogamous relationships with lovely women who love you and respect you. I've been Ray, and if you don't wish to be a cuck within the near future, subscribe. Ciao.